Okay, everyone. All right, here we go. Today is March 26, 2025. I am Richard Lewis Brown, your Local 1000 president, still fighting for you. I'm doing something different this evening. I'm on my Facebook, going live, RL Brown on Facebook, but I'm also live on my YouTube channel, Richard Lewis Brown on YouTube. So I'm live on two different social media spectrums. I'm doing something different tonight. This is last second, but I wanted to talk to you tonight. I'm trying something different. We'll see how it goes. All right. Again, if you want to come on Facebook and ask me a question, go into the comments section. I'll bring you on. We'll share the screen on Facebook Live. If you want to come on YouTube or ask me a question on YouTube, feel free. Again, today is March 26, 2025. I am Richard Lewis Brown. Tonight, the top topic. If you've been watching my Facebook page the last few days, you see me going back and forth with people. And I said, you can't transgender the truth. That's what I said. You cannot transgender the truth. Does that mean I'm homophobic? It does not. Does that mean I have a problem with people who are born one sex but want to be another sex? I do not. But what I am saying, you can't take a lie and make it the truth. Either it's the right way or it's the wrong way. So if you say to me, Richard Lewis Brown, are you saying it's only a man and a female, male and female sexes? I would say, yes, I am. If that offends you, I apologize. If that offends you. But I stand by what I say. Okay? I stand by what I say. How does this relate to Local 1000? It relates to Local 1000 because you've been sold a lie. They have transgendered the truth. This is what they have done. Local 1000 has transgendered the truth. I just stated to you, I am not homophobic. I have nothing against those who are gay or lesbian or who see themselves as being transgendered. But what I am saying to you, there's the truth and there's a lie. Local 1000 has lied to you since their illegal attempted suspension of me on February 27th, 2022. This current person who believes she's the president of Local 1000, she's a transgendered liar. I said it. She's a transgendered liar. I can't understand her English. I don't know if she's really a state employee or not. We have to check her records. I don't know. But she's a transgender liar. And let me tell you how. She was suspended of her official duties February 25th, 2022, along with the VP, Secretary Treasurer, along with the VP of Bargaining. She has transgendered the truth, and now she has you believing she's fighting for you. When she retaliated to, quote, attempt to suspend the duly elected Local 1000 President Richard Lewis Brown. This is me. I don't transgender the truth. I don't have to. The truth is on my side. So when you see her fighting for you, saying that she's fighting against telework, that's a transgendered lie. Or the transgender truth, however you want to look at it. She's not fighting for you. She works for Gavin Newsom. She doesn't work for you. Gavin told her and the other two, along with this man who believes he's the chair of the board, get rid of Richard. Richard won't give me any money. Richard stands up to me. Richard won't allow me to have my friends vaccinate every single one of you. He's got to go. Richard won't give me any money. He won't listen to me. He won't do like I tell him to do. I'm your Local 1000 president. The state of California doesn't tell me what to do. Hear what I'm saying? A lot of people will act like they're the president and be lying the whole time, transgendering the truth when it's convenient for them. It was convenient for them to do what Gavin told them to do years ago at the Sacramento Democratic headquarters when they were warned, Don't go to that meeting because they said it was a board meeting and it was not. The bylaws and the policy files say only the president of Local 1000 can call board meetings and any other meetings. Only the president. They did it anyway because Gavin told them, go down to the Democratic headquarters because I'm the head of the Democratic Party here in the state of California. Go down there, have that illegal meeting, take all the powers of Mr. Brown and give them to this other individual called Bill Hall. That's what he said. Because Mr. Brown is a real leader. Mr. Brown stood up against me. Mr. Brown had a rally, a Local 1000 rally, fighting for the jobs in Lassen County. Mr. Brown is having associations with white people that he should not be around. White people who have their self-esteem. They're conservatives. They're probably Republicans. I don't know for sure. But they have their self-esteem. They're not slaves. They never were. Maybe when they first came to America, maybe their ancestors may have been servants for 7 years. But after those 7 years, by the Old Testament, you're free. Your master must set you free. That's in the Old Testament. But because I was standing up for them, and in a sense, I was standing up for other people from rural towns up and down the state of California who worked at the prisons. And I'm not going to be politically correct when I say, yeah, they're white people. They're not all white people, but enough. And our union is half white. And there's nothing wrong with being white in America. I don't have to demonize you to keep my self-esteem. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't have to demonize you to keep my self-esteem. And so I reached out to those in the union who reached back out to me. And they voted for me. Hold on one second here. Hold on. Woo! I didn't think I could get so worked up this evening. All right. They voted for me to do a job. Stand up to Gavin Newsom. That's what I did. See, let me say this for you again. Local 1000 has only had one leader in its lifetime. Since it came into existence in it's complicated. It goes back into the early 80s. But we first became affiliated with SEIU in 1984. Okay? I believe it was February 13th or something like that. But Local 1000 has never had a leader. They've had two other presidents, Jim Howard, Yvonne Walker. Look it up. But they've never had a leader that took the fight to the state of California. They've never had a leader, and then these so-called leaders now have ever told you, you're a shareholder, you're not a slave. You're a shareholder in a corporation called Union of California Workers, State Workers, UCSW. You're not a slave. Then why are you letting the government treat you like a slave? Because prior presidents, prior so-called leaders told you that the state is your boss. The state's not your boss. This is a partnership. I'm here to tell you you're a shareholder. And I'm here to maximize your shareholder value. I'm no different than a CEO of a company. The CEOs of companies have a mission goal. Maximize shareholder wealth. And how do you do that? You cut costs. You fight the unions. You destroy the unions. You destroy the middle class while increasing the shareholder wealth of a small few. And the Democrats and the Republicans cannot argue with me. These are the facts. I'm here to increase your shareholder wealth. And that's why they ran me off. They wanted to vaccinate. Gavin wanted to vaccinate all of you. So his friends and your companies could get paid. You said, Richard, are you 1,000% sure? Are you saying that factually? And more likelihood than not, I can't say it factually. I'm just taking a look around. He closed the prison in Lassen County. How did that turn out? People lost their homes. First in Paradise Valley. Then it came down to LA. And now he's transgendering his lie, or he's trying to transgender his position. When Kamala Harris was running for president, he would have never said that trans girls can't compete in women's sports. He would have kept his mouth shut, and that's what he did. But when she lost, and the Democratic Party had its ass handed to him, now he wants to change his position because it's convenient, because he's trying to move back to the center. He's a liar. He's been born a liar. He's been a liar his whole life. Do I know that for sure? I'm only telling you my opinion. I'm not stating facts. I'm telling you my opinion on what I've seen from his behavior. And these peanuts that you're fighting for with this illegal contract. Let me get to this here. Your contract's illegal. The 2023 contract's illegal. That's why it's not printed up. I've told you this 1,000 times. I'm not stopping. It's an illegal contract. Illegal contract. You're fighting over an illegal contract for a 1% extra. You're already getting 3%. You're not fighting for 4%. Read the illegal contract. But you really can't because it's not printed up, because they walk you around like you're a slave. And remember, here in America, when we had slaves weren't allowed to read and write, because then they would start knowing things. And that's how they treat you. Like a slave. Except you can read and write. Well, at least we think you can. We don't know. We may have to check citizenship or reading comprehension tests for you or whatever. We don't know what you're up to. This contract's illegal. And this little power play they did down on March 12th, that's hot garbage. That's a publicity stunt. She's not fighting for you because her duties were suspended. She was suspended February 25th, 2022. You say, well, Richard, if that's the case, why haven't you won in court yet? Don't you think I'm not trying? I'm fighting a crooked Democrat-controlled, Democrat-influenced Sacramento Superior Court, and now I'm in the appeals court. You said, well, go to the federal court, Mr. Brown. There's a process to this. Sometimes justice takes a while. The election, the 2024 new leadership election, that's a fraud. It's a fraud. The president of the union runs leadership elections. I'm the president of Local 1000. They illegally attempted to remove me. The courts upheld it because the courts are being controlled by Gavin Newsom. You don't think I'm telling you the truth. Richard Lewis Brown, look it up on the Sacramento Superior Court website, and you'll see all the cases I have. Because I know my value. I have my self-esteem. Question is, why don't you have your self-esteem? I don't understand this. But I have it. And I'm not giving it up for no one. And the people who voted for me, I know you have your self-esteem as well. But for some reason, other people in Local 1000 don't have it. Question is, did they ever have it? And that's why the perception of state employees is you're lazy, you're shiftless, you're no good, you couldn't get a job anywhere else. Let me tell you how they feel about you. This governor could come down and take a whole week of your paycheck every month for the next 3 years, and you wouldn't do a damn thing about it. He could tell you, go out there and take off all your clothes and walk around the Capitol. He could tell you that, and you would do it. Now, will everyone in Local 1000 do that? No, there's some who will fight him back. And that's why I'm here. Because those some are with me. And I'm with those some. And together we are the real Local 1000. All these people on Facebook running their mouth, Facebook warriors, they will never go on video with me. I'll eat them alive. They don't have the emotional, intellectual ability to keep up with me. All they're going to do is talk. I'm not talking. I filed legal lawsuits. And they put a lien on my home. They sent the cops to my home. They tried to destroy my name. Who else have they done like that in the last few years here in our great country? Whether you like him or whether you hate him, he never gave up. He is the real apprentice. He's the apprentice. And he's showing it to you. All right. So now that you know that the election's invalid, that this leadership is not real leadership, none of them are. And they're going to be held accountable for what they've done. You'll see. Remember when they, quote, did their illegal suspension of me and they quickly signed a telework agreement? Do you remember that? You don't remember that. I think it was April 19th or April 26th of 2022. That telework agreement is illegal. It's illegal. When they did this illegal contract, did they fight to get you a good telework agreement in that illegal contract? They did not. But yet, she wants to go down there on March 12th, 2025 at Cal HR and talk about we're fighting against the return to work. Who is she fooling? She can't win no Oscar. She's barely a B-rated, maybe she's a C-rated actress. She can't win no award. How are they telling you they're fighting for you to not go back to work when they signed an illegal contract that your dignity is controlled by Cal HR? This is how stupid they think you are. I'm just saying this to you. I'm not trying to be mean. They think you're stupid. Your dignity is controlled by Cal HR, step 3 of the invalid contract. It was rollover language from the last contract. And when I came into office, what I tell you, we will never, ever give Cal HR any control over us. We'll take this to a court. Ain't gonna be no mediation. We're going to courts. Every time they mess with you and we do the process and they think they can get away with it, they can break the timeline, they can bully, they can manipulate the local 1,000 staff. And I'm gonna get to them in a second here. That's over. And that's why they had to get me up out of there. Illegally. The local 1,000 staff, your contract that they signed October 1st, 2024, that's illegal. That's an illegal contract. And when I'm reinstated, that contract's going to be ruled invalid. And then they're going to have to come back and negotiate with me all over again. So, if you're wondering why I haven't given up on you, remember my campaign slogan? Don't stop. Remember that? I told you I'm on a Hall of Fame journey and you laughed at me. I told you that I have a gift from God. You laughed at me. Keep laughing. Only thing you're doing is inspiring me. They thought when they sent the cops to my house on May 25th, 2021, I would quit. I would be afraid. I would bend over and do as they told me to do. That's a lie. I know my value. When they put the lien on my home, when they won some of those cases, they thought that would shut me up. $37,466.50. And now they're trying to add another $19,000 and something. Using your money to remove and destroy the local 1,000 president that you voted for. And then they got you believing they're fighting for you. They're lying to you. I see you. I see you. Oh, you want to come on? Okay, I see you. They're lying to you. So someone's going to come on. And I don't know what this person is going to ask me. But I'm going to take those questions live, unscripted, unedited, unrehearsed. And I'm going to go in. Now, I'm going to try to answer his questions as quickly as possible so he can keep drilling me. And the reason why I do that is this. I want you to know I don't have to. You know, people say, oh, can you be ready by Thursday? Can you be ready by next Monday? No, I'm always ready. You know why I'm always ready? Because the truth is always here. The righteous truth. See, when you have secular truth, it changes during the time period. You know, they said back when this country was created, they said, oh, well, slavery is okay. But then over a course of time, they said, well, no, maybe slavery's not so okay. That's secular truth. It changed with the times. There was a time when a man could beat his wife. That was okay. No longer. That's secular truth. What I'm telling you is righteous truth. It was true yesterday, it's true today, and it's true tomorrow. I'm your only leader this union has ever had. I am not giving up on you. Now, I need you to pray for me. I need you to keep sending me all your positive energy. Keep sending me the positive text messages, positive emails. Yeah, I need all that. I'm human. I need it. I need your mojo. Because I get tired too. But what I'm telling you, I will be reinstated. Question is, who's with me? Because when I'm reinstated and I'm back at the union, this year, hopefully, so many people are going to be running up to me saying, we always believed in you. But I couldn't find you when I was fighting. I couldn't find you then. Couldn't find you. And I don't understand why. It's easy to support somebody when they're on top. But when they're going through holy hell, that's when you find out who's really with you and who's against you. And when they told you I illegally took over the building on March 5th, 2022, that's a lie. If I had done anything that was a criminal act against Local 1000, you know they would have charged me. They didn't ever charge me. So all these lies they've been telling you and your co-workers, we had to remove him. That was their opinion. We all know in this country, everybody has an opinion. I didn't do no criminal acts. I never stole any money. I never stole any possessions of Local 1000. I was doing my job, fighting for you. And I got ran out. I got ran out. But I'm not giving up. I'm going through the judicial system. I followed the lawsuits. That's what you have to do when you're fighting evilness in a country that has laws and regulations. You don't do vigilante justice, Mr. Hall. But they did their vigilante justice because they were encouraged, they were supported. If you want to come on, just you hit a button on here about I want to join and I'll bring you on. There's a button you have to hit. I can't remember what button it is, but it's a button. If someone knows how to have someone come on video on Facebook Live. But they did vigilante justice. That's what they did. They did vigilante justice. But they were encouraged. They were encouraged. So you just ask to come on Facebook Live, just ask, and you'll go into the guest list, and then I can bring you on. Because there's already one person already that I can add if you want to come on. They were encouraged to do vigilante justice. By who? The head of the Democratic Party in the state of California, the guy who wants to run for the White House in 28, Gavin Newsom. That's who encouraged them. You said, well, are you saying that as a fact? No, I'm not saying it as a fact. I'm telling you, if you have an illegal board meeting to take the powers of the duly elected president at the Sacramento Democratic headquarters, and you're going to sit here and tell me that that building, the person who runs that building, didn't call the Capitol and speak to Gavin Newsom? Do you think I'm stupid? I may be from Missouri, but I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. Why am I fighting so hard for you? Okay, so someone says they're not finding it. Hold on one moment here. Wait a minute. I have my button on to allow viewers to request to join the video. So I have Bob Fine. If he wanted to come on, he could put in the comments, but I don't think he wants to come on. So there's a link on Who's Watching Me Facebook Live that you hit saying that you want to come on. There's a link on here at the bottom, and it'll say you want to come on, and you will hit it, and then it'll flash on me, and then I'll tag you, and then I can get you to come on. All right. This vigilante justice that I'm fighting, why haven't I not given up on you? I wasn't created to give up. What does that mean? What that means is this: we all are created for our destinies. I was created to lead. That's what I was created for. I wasn't created for anything else. Gotcha. I have to use my iPhone. Okay, that's fine. So that's what I was created for. To lead. And that's why I'm not walking away from you. And they can tell all the lies that they want. They can transgender the truth. All that they want. You can't transgender the righteous truth. And I'm here on a righteous calling. A lot of people have given up. I have not. And I'm going to keep fighting. And when I'm reinstated, and I will be, I'm telling you this. Oh, here we go. Here we go. So I sent the invite. So I see this person, like James Glass, he pops up. I'll see if he'll pop up on the screen. So it looks like he's being added. So I guess he's gonna try to ask me some questions. All right. So I see.
Don't take my phone. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure this out with you.
Take your time. So I know most people, I try to do my videos shorter than what I used to. But this is an interesting video because this was spur of the moment. And I've been getting a lot of calls from people because they want me to explain the transgender comments that I were having conversations with people on Facebook. And I hopefully they'll watch this video because they're trying to portray me as this, transphobic individual, which is so ironic. That's so ironic. Because remember, I was told to go suck a dick and go eat a dick. Remember that? And these same people who doing all this criticizing of me, saying don't say transgender the truth, they couldn't be found when a person who doesn't look like me a woman told me to go suck a dick and eat a dick. And if I had told a woman to go eat a dick and suck a dick, what do you think would have happened to me? See, this is people's transgendering what they want to see, and they're not giving equal criticism. They're transgendering. You can't do that. You can't transgender the truth and think you're going to be a real leader. That won't work. That will not work. And that's why I wanted to do this video. I wanted to do it outside, actually, but I'm doing it on Facebook Live and YouTube Live to see how the different things will go. And then I may even go to another medium to where I can just broadcast simultaneously on multiple channels. I may try that. So I'm not sitting still and just not doing anything. I still love Local 1000, and I'll say it here at the 29.7 mark of this live video. I'm willing to die for what I believe in. Let me say it for you again. I'm willing to die for this. And when people say, I shouldn't say that, this is my freedom of speech about what I'm willing to die for to help others in need, to get you a substantial pay increase. And this time we're getting more than 21%. We're getting a lot more than that. No, we're going to get, it's going to be more than 21% for a period of time. And let me say this to you before, can you hear me?
Yep, I got you.
Okay.
This time.
So let me say this before this person starts asking me these questions. When I'm reinstated, you won't have to worry about no job loss while under a signed contract for a period of time. There won't be no outsourcing of your job. Let me set it for you again. For those who hung around to stay on to 30 minutes, when I'm reinstated and we sign a new valid contract, there will be no job loss in that contract. Won't be no outsourcing. All these decisions Kyle HR has made since my illegal removal that they didn't run through the Local 1000 president, that's going to be ruled invalid. We will be back in court. I promise you that. You won't lose your job. You'll get a substantial pay increase. And it's going to be absent of management abuse. Okay, I've said it. Okay, Mr. Glass, go ahead.
Yeah, so I've been listening and watching you for a while. What I'd like to know is if you can describe for new listeners and just remind older listeners what the Union of Local 1000 represents, who you represent, and how many people you might be representing.
So Mr. Glass asked me, who is Local 1000? How many people are there? What's our mission goal, basically? Local 1000 is the largest public sector union for state employees of the California state government, the fourth largest economy on earth. Local 1000 is the largest union for state employees, representing over 743 different job classifications up and down the state of California in all 58 counties. Our numbers are, it fluctuates between 96,000 to 100,000. Right now, I think we're below 100,000.
Okay. And so you're saying that you were the duly elected president of Local 1000. What year did that happen?
May 24th, 2021, they announced unofficially I was the duly elected president. It was confirmed. I took my first day in office, June 30th, 2021.
And why is it that because the topic oftentimes becomes about that Gavin Newsom. So how did Gavin Newsom play a part in removing you from your actual position?
Gavin Newsom, in my personal opinion, influenced them to remove me from office because I wouldn't give him any money for his political campaigns. Oh. So someone's asking, Bob's asking, who does Mr. Glass belong to? I don't believe Mr. Glass is a state employee. I believe he's just a person that watches on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just a guy that watches on Facebook because I believe in the people, for the people, by the people, regardless of race, color, creed, or gender. And what I want to make sure happens is that any other people that are represented by unions, right? They're represented properly, and politicians don't take a deep hand inside of unions and begin to essentially manipulate our unions in order to commit to their political agendas. I don't think any union belongs to a political agenda. I think unions operate independently because they're made up of people who are both Republican, Democrat, Independent, and everything in between, right? And so go ahead.
No, keep going.
Oh, I was about to say, and so if a governor of a state is so invested in destroying a person of a union, naturally I have to wonder why, regardless of the political boundaries that they belong to, right? Why would a governor of a state take direct interest in pushing back against or upseating or uprooting a person or a president who's been duly elected by the people of that union, mind you, right? Why would a governor have that much interest invested in pushing them or forcing them out?
So let me break this question down. Someone wants me to tell you that Gavin wouldn't even meet with me. That's correct. He would not meet with me. Now, you said the unions are supposed to represent their members properly. Local 1000 is not a union. It's a social justice organization, and it's really a financial aqueduct for the Democratic Party because we are affiliated with SEIU. So, since we're affiliated with SEIU, Service Employees International Union, a political-based organization in DC, it's a political organization that funds money to the Democratic Party. And because we're affiliated with this SEIU, we have to carry out their political agenda. And so therefore, they support Democrats. And so if you're a Republican or a non-Democrat in this union, none of your ideology, none of your politics will be represented. That's not right. I mean, when I was elected, I was stopping that. We was going to treat everyone in the union with equal respect, regardless of the political party, regardless of their race, their sexual orientation, regardless, everyone was going to get treated fairly and equally. That's not been the history of SEIU Local 1000. And so what Gavin Newsom is doing is he's doing the work of the Democratic Party And they've been doing this for years upon years, taking money from public sector unions in the state of California. And so if that union has non-Democrats in it, oftentimes they won't join the union because they will be involved. Their union will use their money to promote social justice issues. Is why you had the Janus case where the Supreme Court said you can no longer just automatically take a fair share from public employees in the state of California. You can no longer do that. Okay. So he was having a little bit of technical problems, I guess. And so the reason why I'm doing this tonight, I'm challenging myself to do something different. By doing two platforms at the same time. Normally it's just Zoom and Facebook Live. But I tried something different tonight to see how it goes. All right? So there's going to be some kinks here and there. If anyone ever wants to come on a video or do a podcast with me, oh, I'm ready. If you want to come by the house, I don't care if we've argued on Facebook or not. If you want to come by the house, oh, I'll get you this mic. I'll get you a mic, get you the, I'll set it up for you. We can do this together in front of everyone because I don't have anything to hide. And when you have so-called people who telling you they're your leaders and they're not your leaders, you're transgendering the truth, and they've gotten you to believe it, that an apple is an orange and an orange is a giraffe. If they can transgender that, then they can transgender and tell you anything. We're not having that. I'm going to keep fighting for you. I keep saying this. I will be reinstated. Why am I so confident? Because I am. I'm on a divine destiny. I am on a divine destiny. I'm still your local 1000 president. When they reinstate me, all that time that I lost, they have to give it back to me. And then I'm going to run for re-election. And when they tell you, well, he retired, he can't get back in, that's a lie. The reason why I had to retire is because I got forced to retire because of the stress on my job, because they were trying to fire me. And you know I couldn't go to the union for legal representation. I had to represent myself. They were trying to destroy me. Oh, they're going to reinstate me. And I'm going to take my rightful position back, because I would have never been forced to retire if I'd have still been at the union serving out my 3-year term. See, they want to tell you that I lied to you. I've never lied to you on anything. I haven't. They're the ones who are lying to you. They're the ones who are transgendering the truth, and you're falling for it. No one has ever called me and said, show me the proof. I've always shown my proof. Remember all my videos on Wednesday night? Remember the board meetings? I did everything live on Facebook, live on my page, on Local 1000 page. I did it all live. I didn't hide anything from you because I was on the up and up. I was on the up and up. That's all there is to it. There's nothing complicated about this. Now, what can you do to help? Has anybody ever called me and say, Richard, what can I do to help? Let me tell you something. Remember, I put the Facebook post up talking about Gavin Newsom and all the stuff I was doing? Remember that? That was before the March 12th. I put it up on Facebook. I can't remember the exact date. See, I sent that as a press release to all the news media. Nobody wanted to pick it up. Not the conservative media, not the liberal media. No one picked it up. No one. No one's ever contacted me and said, you know what? Send me some of your information. I'm going to send it to I'm going to send it to my cousin who works in the news media, and watch them walk away from it. When people say, why can't you find a lawyer? No lawyer wants to take this case on. Why is that? Because I'm taking on the state of California. That's who I'm taking on. I'm taking on a monster. But I'm a monster myself. I'm not walking away. No one wants to touch this because they're afraid of the state of California. There's only one person in this country who's not afraid of the state of California. He's in the White House, and he's called President Donald J. Trump. He ain't afraid of California. And let me throw this tidbit at you. You know why you're going back to work? Not really so much that Gavin wants to force you back to work, because he doesn't care about you. He just wants your money. You're going back to work because Gavin Newsom is so afraid that there are certain state agencies that get federal funds. And if he doesn't force you to come back to work, President Trump ain't sending the money. That's the rest of that story. I see you. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's what it is. He's afraid he won't get the federal funds for state agencies. And that's going to make him look bad. And that's going to hurt his political ambitions. He's in for a world of hurt. So when I told you, and people say, oh, Richard, don't say that, don't say that. No, I'm just going to tell it the way it is. I've already had the dream from God. So this is what y'all, you think I'm sticking my chest out like I'm just all that? God's already telling me I'm going to meet with Gavin Newsom. Yes. I'm going to make world history with your help. But I need you to get involved. I need you to call and text me and say, what can I do? And I'll tell you things to do. And then I'm going to see if you do it. And you can't be afraid of criticism on social media. When people say, oh, I don't go on that social media site. I don't do this. I don't do that. Well, then you're not trying to win. Do you want to win for your spouse and for your kids? Do you want to win? Because this country is a competitive country. No one's just going to come and just give you stuff in this country. And even when they give you free stuff, they're going to try to make you be a slave to them for that free stuff. Because then they're going to think they own you. I'm just saying. Okay? So it says here, I'm cutting in and out. So can you still hear me, Bob? Or can you still hear me, Bob? Can you still hear me, Bob? Bob, fine. Can you still hear me? Text something. Hello? Hello. Okay, so I'm going to keep going here. But this was the video tonight. You can't transgender. Thank you, Colleen. So you can't transgender the truth. Yeah, we can hear you. Okay. So you can't transgender the truth. That's not a homophobic statement. Again, that's not a homophobic statement. And for those who want to accuse me of that and say I'm too racial and I'm too this and I'm too that, you know what? You believe that, I'll bet you want. I'm calling out the lies of Local 1000. I've already told you, these so-called current leaders, they're not leaders. They're suspended. The election is illegal. The contract's illegal. Why is that so hard to understand? I know. I got to win in court. I'm going to win in court. I'm going to win. I promise you this. I promise you this. When I'm reinstated, what will my first 100 days be like? Let me say it for you again. When I'm reinstated, what will my first 100 days be like? Oh, I don't know. I think this is when I get really professional and I get very calm. You ever go into the boss's office and he's known to be kind of a hothead? And that day you go in, you have this funny feeling, this creepy feeling, and he's very calm. He's very professional. I've been in court since October 2022. Well, actually, it started in March of 2022. I'm trying to get around with the PC version of the line. I don't know what's going on. Don't worry, don't worry. So we'll do this again. So you go into your boss's office, and the boss is very calm and very solemn. But he's known to be a hothead. And that day you go in there, he's just really just, he asks you how you're doing, tells you, you made a great contribution to the work site, to the workplace, to the office. But you have that funny feeling. You ever had that funny feeling? Everyone on Facebook and on YouTube, you ever had that funny feeling? What if Richard is so crazy, but in a good way? What happens if he does get reinstated? Because right now they're all telling you he's gone, he'll never make it back. But what if? What if he pulls a Trump? What if he pulls a Trump and he's reinstated? What happens then? Huh? Thought about that? Have you thought about if he is reinstated, what will his first 100 days be like? Have you thought about that? Have you? You should. You should. SEIU International in DC, you definitely should be looking at what if we lose? What if we lose? Anybody who's doing something and they're not looking at what if they lose, you always plan for the best, or you hope for the best, but you plan for the worst. What if they lose? What are they going to tell you then? Oh, well, Richard went and grabbed the judge, and he made the judges give him the verdict he wanted. Richard made the judges give him the verdict he wanted. If that was the case, I would have had the verdict a long time ago. What lie are they going to tell you then? Well, Annika, she was really the president, but Richard came back. No, she was never never president. She was never the second woman president of Local 1000. She was not the first Latina. No. She was a suspended, yes, I'm on YouTube also, YouTube Live, Richard Lewis Brown. She was the suspended vice president. That's all that she was. She was nothing ever. Nothing ever more. She was nothing but a suspended vice president who had plans to want to be the president. Remember when I told you I paid off her legal expenses, her and her little two compadres? Remember I told you that? I used union funds to pay off her legal expenses when they were trying to sue Yvonne Walker because they were trying to suspend her from office. Do you remember that? They tried that stunt with Yvonne Walker. She wasn't having it. And that's why they had their union leave taken from them. What if I'm reinstated? All these people on Facebook talking about how they love the current, illegal president, how they don't want to go back to work, how they voted and how they ran and became elected officers in these DLCs. Okay. They walking around thinking they're somebody. Oh no. You're taking part of an insurrection. You've taken part of a coup. Remember what President Trump did when he got back in office? All the people who went and marched for him on January 6th. And they went, a lot of them went to jail. And when he got back in office, he let them all out. The good ones and the bad ones. The ones who protested peacefully versus the ones who did. He said, "No, what? I'm not gonna discriminate." He let them all out. Let me tell you something. The people who helped me on March 5th, because I didn't plan that though. I didn't tell them to go down there. In fact, I begged them to not go down there. But the ones who went down there, because they called me and I had to go down to the building, and then I said, well, I gotta stay because I'm still the president. All those people, and they didn't go to jail. That was a civil protest. There was no criminal charges. See the difference? They told you I tried to take the building over. That's the Local 1000 building. That's our building, and I'm the president. I was never suspended. No, they took over the building. They're the ones who invaded the building. They were suspended, and they locked me out. See how they transgendered, transgendered the truth? That's what they did. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait, you were never suspended? So this person is asking, they retaliated and suspended me, and the courts upheld their illegal suspension of me. I suspended them of their duties on February 25th, 2022. They turned around 2 days later on the 27th and retaliated and tried to suspend me, and I received it on February 28th, 2022. And the courts upheld theirs because the courts are being influenced by Gavin Newsom. Hopefully that answers that question. Hopefully. Let's see here. Okay. And so now I'm being asked, so is there an endorsement for President Trump? No, I'm not endorsing President Trump. I'm not for him. I'm not against him. I didn't vote for President Trump. Some things he does, I agree with. Some things he does, I don't agree with. But that's life. That's life. That's life. So when they told you, oh, Richard's a Republican, no, that's an absolute lie. In fact, that is a defamatory statement. If I catch anyone saying that on Facebook and writing, is Richard a black Republican? And they tell you, yeah, Richard's a black Republican, I'm going to sue their ass. Oh, yes, because there's no history of me ever being a black Republican. So I want someone to try me. Now, somebody else already has tried me on Facebook. He got sued. Yes, I'm not playing with y'all. And so when they told you I invaded the building, I took over the building, I'm the president. They took the building. They were suspended. Now, someone said, is Gavin Newsom running a podcast? Yeah, I wish Gavin Newsom the very best in this podcast. I have no personal ill will against Gavin. I know he's slick. I know he's no good. I know that he caused my cousin's house in LA to burn down in Altadena. I know that. I know he took the jobs from those people in Lassen County. Oh, I know that. I'm not mad. No. You know, I don't know who he's having on. I don't follow his podcast. See, I'm the president of Local 1000. I'm concerned with the people here at Local 1000, whether they pay money or not. But we're going to change all that when I come back. Oh, yes. Going to be a lot of new stuff. But sometimes you have to let things play out. Sometimes you have to take the law. You have to take the loss in the short term to accomplish a long-term goal. Thank you, Colleen. I've always been for the people, and I'm not going away. And when they reinstate me and I prove to you that I took on the state of California and won, then what does that tell you? If that doesn't tell you that there's some type of higher power on my side, then I don't know what to tell you, because I couldn't have done this on my own. And so to those who say, well, I don't believe in God, yes, there's some extreme Republicans and there's some extreme Democrats. We got them probably right in our union, but that's in our country, the country that I was willing to die for. So, Mr. Glass, I don't know, but I served the country. How I served the country. I was willing to die for the country. And some of these people I'm willing to die for don't even like me. So, as I tell somebody, I served the country, did you? Did you serve the country? That's always the question I ask for. You know, so, you know, I tell some people say, well, hey, you know, I think there's 30 days in a month. Some tell me it's 31 days in a month. Some tell me it's 32, 33 days in a month. I don't know what to believe sometimes. So I am here and I wanted to do this video. You can't transgender the truth. You cannot transgender the truth. Now, someone's saying they haven't seen many Democrats on Gavin Newsom's podcast. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Some people say the different parties don't mean a doggone thing. I don't know. I don't know everything. Here's what I do know. I am your local 1000 president. I'm going to keep fighting until I'm reinstated. I'm not going away. And when I'm reinstated, all these people will be held accountable for their illegal actions, for their transgender actions. Oh, yes, they're going to be held accountable. And I'm not running away from the word transgender. I'm not doing it. If a person wants to be transgender and they're part of Local 1000, you know what I say? I'm going to get you your money. And it won't be transgender. It's going to be green money. Listen to how I say this. If you are transgender, represented by Local 1000, I'm going to get you your money. I'm not going to transgender the truth and say, well, I can't get you your money, but I can get Leroy his money, or I can get Maria her money, or I can get Pang her money. I'm going to get everyone their money, regardless of their sexual orientation, or their race, or their creed, or ethnic background, or whatever. Oh, yes, I am. But see, that's part of the video people are not going to talk about. See, when I was fighting for those people in Lansing County, I'm telling you this. They told me, don't go up there around those white people. I'm telling you they told me this. Well, that's funny, because that sounds like reverse racism. You ever thought you'd hear me say that, did you? They said, don't go up there around those white people. I said, well, hell, that sounds like don't go around them black folks in the city. That's what it sounds like. And these so-called leaders of Local 1000, I don't know, look like a DEI hire to me. People you can tell what to do. They say, well, Richard, are you a DEI hire? No, I'm not a DEI hire, because they couldn't tell me what to do. I got elected to do a job, to fight for you. Do I know the demographics of the Local 1000? Not off my head, I forgot. But it was almost half Democrat and the other half was non-Democrat. That I do remember. And so they said, well, how are you going to hold them accountable? Well, oh, I don't know. I mean, if I sit here and tell you my whole strategy, oh, I must be from the country. So, yeah, about a 50-50 split, yeah. So 50 Democrat and 50 non-Democrat. How do I hold these people accountable? Now, I know the calls I get from people. I know the calls I get. I know what they're telling me to do. I don't know what to think. Some of these people that call me. These people who call themselves leaders, they're transgendering the truth. They're not your leaders. I am your only leader. I am your only president. When this person stands up and says she's the president of the union, she's lying through her teeth. I can't understand her English because she's lying so much. So here they say, a better question is, how are they working for the people? Have they done anything for the union? No, they have not. They've caused confusion for the union because the duly elected president was removed for no reason. So they have caused confusion. They've caused a coup. They've caused an insurrection. They haven't done anything. Tell them how some Lansing people were the best. You know what? Mr. Fine, he's telling the truth. Some of the Lansing people were the best people I've met in the state of California. In fact, if I go back and do my recall correctly, they're some of the best people I've met in the country, in all 50 states. I stand behind that statement. So these current leaders who are transgendering the truth, they haven't done anything for the union. Maybe that's how you want me to answer the question. They haven't not done anything for the union except have an illegal election, an illegal contract, and an illegal publicized stunt like they're fighting for the represented employees of Local 1000. They have not increased their shareholder value because they're liars. They work for Gavin Newsom. That's the answer you're looking for, sir. Have the employees gotten a raise? They got a 3% pay raise, an illegal 3% pay raise for 3 straight years. 3%? That means you work for Gavin. You don't work You don't serve Local 1000. What can 3% do for someone? Nothing. Have the employees gotten a raise and seen a better work environment? No, they're being told to go back to work. Only one leader, only one president, Richard Lewis Brown, that is me, was saying to the state of California, hold on a second, was saying to the state of California, you're not making us come back to work unless you can show us financially and justify us coming back to work. So if you can work us from home and still be the fourth largest economy on earth, why are you taking us back to work? When you claim, Gavin Newsom, unless you're transgendering again, that you were behind protecting the environment. So you want all those cars back on the road. Back on the road. I see, Colleen. Back on the road. All the traffic, car accidents. You want those people back on the road. You're not for, quote, protecting the environment. That was a lie. You've transgendered again. Does the 3% keep up with the inflation rate? To that person who says that, everybody has an opinion. I would say no. Others would say yes. Here's what I would say. If you belong to a union in the United States of America and they're giving you a 3% pay increase, why the hell do you belong to a union? You don't need it. You don't need it. A union gives you substantial pay increases, not a living wage. When you hear a person tell you, we're fighting for a living wage, they're telling you they want to keep you as a slave. They want to keep you living in the ghetto in a short-term environment. Oh, hold on. Ooh, well, y'all on fire tonight. So Colleen Cope, Committee on Political Education, don't you give them a damn dime. Cope is they take your money, an additional set of money, and they send it to international DC. What does DC do? They send the money to Kamala Harris. And then that money becomes $2.5 billion. And then in 4 months, you say, where's the money at? They don't know where the money's at. At least with the Republican Party, if you give them $2.5 billion, oh, they'll tell you where the money went to. Shareholders. Don't give them no coke. Anybody who's giving coke to Local 1000 to send to international, you're a fool. Because it was international that Gavin was talking to about get Richard out of office. Y'all think I'm playing, but I'm not. So this is why I get, because some things are so second nature for me. If you look up the Committee on Political Education, if you really look this up, you'll see that the money goes to international. That money does not have to come back. And here's the other thing, Colleen, and I talked about this on video on Wednesday night. If we don't raise enough money every year for COPE, then international puts a fine of 50%. That's part of our affiliation agreement. And then you wonder why I've always said I'll never wear purple. Remember, Colleen, when I said I will never wear purple because I'm not a slave? Remember that? Because that's a slave color. And I told you, if someone comes to me and they know me and they can touch my heart and say, come on, Rich, put your purple on, we got to go win the game. If they say it to me like that and they know me, that's a different story. Oh, that's a different story, Mr. Glass. That's a different story. Then I'll probably be, Mr. Glass, I'll probably suit up and be the fourth or third greatest score in the purple, Mr. Glass. Okay? Can they be voted out? Yes. But the membership's too lost. So when they had the illegal election, the same people who did all this damage got voted right back in. You say, well, Richard does not say that the voters that wanted that? No, because they illegally removed me. I had the most votes. And that's why they had to remove me. So when they ran the next election, they told the person, borrow him from re-election. Not just take him out, but borrow him from re-election because they knew I'd get re-elected again. Okay? Hopefully this is clear. These people have transgendered the truth. And why are they transgendering the truth? Why are they transgendering the truth? Because they're following their boss, Mr. Newsom, who has now transgendered the truth. Because I told you in 2024, you could never hear him say, that transgender girls shouldn't play in women's sports. You would never hear him say that. But after the election loss, now he wants to come out and say that stuff. He's transgendering because it's convenient. Yes, I was served retaliatory on February 27th, a suspension. Well, I got the letter on the 28th of February, 2022. And so we had to go through all the process, but they were so crooked and they paid people off that they refused to hear the truth, because the person that they claimed was a neutral hearing officer, and they picked a man of color, he transgendered the truth. You know how I know he transgendered the truth? Because on his signature block, it always said he, she, they, them. What kind of crap is that? That tells you that he's for the transgender lies. He's for transgendering the truth. He's for transgendering the truth. I'm just telling you what it is. And then the courts upheld it because the courts are being influenced by Gavin Newsom because they're transgendering the truth. Okay? So as fast as people are typing these comments in, and I'm answering as fast as I possibly can. That's what I'm doing. That's why this video is called "You Can't Transgender the Truth." And it's not a homophobic, it's not a transphobic statement, but it's a statement that grabs your attention. An apple is an apple, an orange is an orange, a boy is a boy, and a girl is a girl. Those are facts from birth. If a boy wants to be a girl, that's his freedom. Listen to how I said that. If a boy wants to be a girl wants to be a boy, that's their freedom in our great country. That's their freedom. But in the same hand, if a boy is born a boy and now he wants to be a girl, that's his freedom. But you can't compete in girl sports. You can't transgender sports. So someone said he's slowly leaving the California Democrats and running to gather another following. No, he's not. No, he ain't that smart. Gavin Newsom's not that smart. And I want people to take this video and run back and tell everybody they can. And if you don't like what I say in this video, sue me. I'm already in court. The judge knows who I am. Them judges down in Sacramento Superior Court, they all know who I am. I'm the one that can't bully. Okay. Listen, it's been fun. The message tonight, you can't transgender the truth. I'm still your president. You know? And when they say, hey, you're being mean, I want to leave you with this. When a trans girl says she wants to play in girl sports, I want you to understand this. Hold on, Colleen, you didn't want change. You wanted to create a new culture. See, every politician tells you they're going to change things, and they're not going to do a damn thing, Colleen. This current fraud individual claiming that she's the president, she hasn't changed anything. From what I'm being told, she's acting just like Yvonne Walker. No one ever told me I acted like Yvonne Walker. We don't want a living wage. We want a substantial pay increase. Don't ever say living wage. No, you don't want to live, Colleen, because when you say a living wage, that means they want you to live day to day. You want a substantial pay increase so that you can do great things with your husband and your children. You can support your political party of your choice. You can take vacations. You want a substantial pay increase, not a living wage. Poor people say they want a living wage, but that's been the philosophy. That's been the philosophy of Local 1000 for years. And let me say this to you, Colleen, because you know I'm crazy about you. You don't hear the state legislators talk about paying them a living wage, okay? You don't hear them say that. Then what are the yes people gaining from their yes? To be on union leave so they don't have to go to their jobs. That's what they're gaining. And they think they can get a political career by sucking up. That's all that they're getting. Nothing more. Why would you give anybody who's that unintelligent, who has such a low self-esteem, anything? You don't have to give them anything. You can just give them a piece of crumbs and they'll be glad to have it. You don't want a living wage. State legislators, the federal government, they don't have living wage. They have substantial wages. Okay? Right. They want to keep us poor. But Colleen, we're not slaves. And the majority of this union, who are white people, you are not descendants of the enslaved African. No, you're not. You came to America looking for a new way of life. No. You were never meant to come to America. Your ancestors were never coming to this country to be a slave. They left all that servitude, this is how I say this, Colleen, back in Europe with the king. They left that servitude lifestyle back in Europe with King George III. European Americans came here to have the greatest life possible. And so my question to you, Colleen, and to the rest of those of European descent, what the hell are you doing? Being treated like a slave. You know what, Colleen? If I didn't know any better, that sounds like reverse racism. Except black people are not in charge of anything. Minorities are not in charge of anything. So why are they treating you like a slave? Why is someone whose ancestors also came from Europe, Gavin Newsom, why is he treating you like a slave? What told him he could do that? The Democratic Party, the donkey told him he could do that. I'm just saying. And so if I said something tonight that offends you, take me to court. Take me to court because I said I'm still the Local 1000 president. Take me to court. I dare you. Miners had a living wage in the 1800s, however, it died at approximately average age of 40. You know what? Hey, Bob Fine, did the miners have a union? Did they have a union leader like me? I don't think so. I don't think so. So, no, we ain't doing no living wage. We doing a substantial pay increase. If you want to listen to this, if you want to live day to day, keep following these, quote, Antichrist leaders over at Local 1000. Keep following them and you'll keep living day to day. You want to live in a substantial pay increase environment, you'll follow me. I'm telling you this. Okay, we've been going for 1 hour and 12 minutes. And I don't know if this mic, because I don't have my headphones on. So I'll try the headphones on a real podcast and not something live. So that's why I'm talking kind of loud. That's why I'm talking kind of loud and throwing my voice out there so everyone can hear me. I don't know if Gavin ever had a living wage. I don't know. He was born rich, but I don't want to stereotype every rich kid born in America because that wouldn't be right. That'd be a stereotype. But okay, good. So, but he may have his headphones on. Okay, so we've been at 1 hour and 13 minutes. I'm gonna wrap this thing up in 2 more minutes. I want to thank everyone for coming on and asking these great questions. Hopefully I answered them as quickly as possible and they were informative. But tonight's video is you can't transgender the truth. And to anyone who is offended by my words, you should call me. We should do a video and then we can talk things out and I'll be very calm and cool and collective. But the fact is, Local 1000 has transgendered the truth and I'm not backing up from that and I never will. And this idea that I'm just going to give up and I'm just going to do a settlement with Local 1000, they're crazy. I haven't done anything wrong. And I'm going to prove this to you. God, through Jesus Christ, be my witness. This will be done. I'm going to come back and we're going to create a whole new union, Colleen. You're going to be so glad that you didn't retire. When we get this gigantic pay increase, a lot of folks are going to try to come back and work for the state. Book it. And they should. Gavin Newsom is not getting to the White House. You know why? Because he hasn't made peace with his past and what he did to me. He hasn't made peace with it. And God's already has shown me that he has to go through me. Now, maybe he won't be the Democratic nominee for 2028. He's going to be tough to beat. I know he's got some competition on the East Coast, but he's going to be tough to beat to someone who doesn't know him. But see, here in the state of California, we know how shady he is. All right. Today was March the 26th, 2025. This is an unscripted, unedited, unrehearsed 15 15 minutes, let's rock and roll video. Because I didn't know I was going to do this tonight, but I felt that I needed to do it. And I want to thank everyone who's been supporting me all of this time. It means a lot to me. I've had a lot of long conversations with people, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes in between. And so I tell anyone who I've spoken to on the telephone or through text or email, if I've offended you or hurt your feelings, then I do ask you to forgive me. I don't mean to hurt no one's feelings, but I know, I miss you too, man. I know that I have to serve this mission. I have to. And I won't stop until I get you your money. And why is that so important to me? People in this country must realize it doesn't matter what color you are, it doesn't matter what party you belong to. When someone comes to get you your money, and they're not trying to enhance themselves, they're just trying to get you paid to help you and your family, and they don't really have a vested interest, that person has a righteous calling. They have a righteous calling. You know, they tell you that I've retired. When I retired, because I was forced to retire, I should have gave up. I should have said, I'm done with y'all. And I'm still fighting for you. I'm still putting all this energy in, filing all of these legal briefs. And I don't have a lawyer. So if I didn't truly care for you, do you think these other individuals would fight this hard? No. So if I'm fighting this hard to become reinstated as your president, then you know how hard I'm going to fight for you to make sure you get a substantial pay increase in the work environment that's absent of management abuse, and your jobs are guaranteed for the length of that contract. All right, I'm going to stop here. Again, I'm Richard Lewis Brown, your Local 1000 president. Today was March 26, 2025. Tonight's video, you can't transgender the truth. Have a great evening. Good night.